have, either before the sale took place, either before the sale was closed, you'd either have the resolution from the IRS as to exactly what would happen with the bonds, or you'd have Miller Canfield's opinion that whatever happened was not going to harm the TIF in any way. Ultimately, the question that the IRS is going to answer is simply which maturities that $6 million is going to pay off. It's going to go to the TIF bonds. It's just going to, they're going to decide which, there's 9 years of maturities. They're going to decide which maturities it gets paid against. That's all they're going to decide.
I have a question. So we owe like $14 million right now in bonds for it. If we sell it, then we're still going to owe $8 million.
So the debt service that the TIFA would pay as of now would be related to the TSX would be $15,931,000. If the sale goes through and the $6 million is applied to the bonds, they wind up paying about $6,966,000 less. So the new amounts that the TIFA would pay over the 9 years would be approximately $8,965,000.
Right, and then you're gonna refinance that to make the payments lower, regardless.
Well, that reflects.
That reflects that.
An assumption of that.
Okay, let's say we don't sell it,
Okay.
and we lose the tenant. Then what happens?
The TIFA still pays the
whole thing.
$15.9 million of
And what's
debt.
that payment a year?
Well, we're not gonna get refinanced.
Between $1.5 million and $2 million.
For 1 year?
Right, for each of the 9 years, somewhere between $1.5 million and $2 million.
And then don't you
More than we've
percent?
been paying.
Well, because he's already putting in the lower
Actually,
interest.
less than we'd be paying.
So you're already gonna have.
Actually, less than what we've been paying.
From a 5 to a
With the
2%.
refinance.
Yeah, right. it'd be
Difference
less
regardless
than
if we sell
that's the amount in play now.
it. I mean, a 5 to a 3.
But is our bond rating such that we're gonna get this lower interest?
The TIFA has I believe it's a AAA minus bond rating.
That's
which
good,
is
right?
Significantly better than the city's bond rating.
Okay.
And the city doesn't support those bonds in any way, anyway. There's no backing of the city on those
Except
bonds.
Island Lakes.
Because, yeah, it's not like Island Lakes. The TIFA has
That was a mistake.
generally over the last 20 years had a better bond rating than the city, so there's no need for the city to try and support those bonds.
Is there a chance that the TIFA could run out of money?
No, the TIFA would expect to collect over those 9 years, over $39 million, and they'd be paying debt of, total, they have other debt. The only other remaining debt is the portion related to the Telegraph Road part of the bond. But, they'd be paying, or they'd be collecting about $39 million in tax, plus what would be paid in from this transaction, versus about $25 million in debt service in total. So it's a 1.53 ratio. So no, they shouldn't run it.
Yes.
Ian, I don't know how many people in this room were here when we originally approved this, but we heard tonight that to finance $6 million, we need a field house, a hotel, and a restaurant. What was the mindset when this thing was developed, when we spent $20+ million in basing that decision on hockey and soccer and a concession stand? Because I'm really struggling with, 15 years ago, we were given advice that, we could make this, spending all this money, and today, we're saying we're gonna, be rubbing pennies together in hopes of all these dots connect for our future success.
Well, the mindset was that the $5 million that the building authority was going to be putting into it was the amount that the building operations could support. The other millions, 16 million in bond money and 8 million or so in cash that the TIFA put into it was was gonna be paid off by the Tifa captures over the years. It was, not deemed necessary for the building to support that, the Tifa was gonna pay that. So it was gonna pay it for 20 years, it was gonna, build an outstanding building and hopefully draw more business to the area.
You have to, I want to say, any of the 21 million related to securing the property across the street, moving Maddox, building is building.
Yes.
I mean, so there's additional funds that aren't related to just building the sportsplex itself. I mean, they would probably move, I don't know, they move anybody else from that site and all that happened very last minute.
Yeah, lesser amounts, but I think other
And
people
then I
that,
would, I would say that the other answer to your question is, we would probably assume Devonshire was full of condominiums and people living there, and the tax rate base went up in the Tifa district there, and as well as the other ones that were all in Tifa.
That's what I asked, well, that's what I asked earlier.
You know, right
saying,
now,
Increasing
on
the-
that.
you know,
Just
both
other
times,
things. I remember there were other.
the Red Wings were doing great. Hockey
Yeah.
was actually making a comeback. Soccer, if you went over to Heritage Park, there were soccer moms all over the place, tons of kids. And it looked like it was something that would probably work, but times change rapidly.
And my only point is that they may change again.
Yeah.
And this is a pretty aggressive schedule that's sitting before us today, and, you know, I don't know, there's a lot of ifs in it.
I was totally opposed to it until they added the soccer. I thought that might pull it through. I'm worried about the hockey part. Hockey is so expensive that it's rough. But soccer is cheap, you know.
I think it was explained to us that, and I'm not exact on all the details, but I was around when it happened. Jack Vivian was the person that was going to run it for us. He's one of the few people in the area, and probably in the country, that knows exactly how to run that type of ice. And I can't give you all the details, it's different than some of the arenas use. So, and they were going to build a hotel of some type, another building over there, I'm not sure it was a restaurant also. And they were gonna combine it, it was supposed to be a huge project. And as Jack explained to us a few times, he became ill, he let someone else take over. Thought that he wasn't gonna be able to do it, he found out in the meantime that it's very controllable with medication. The people that took over the sportsplex did not run it properly, ruined a lot of the building, caused a lot of cost, ineffective with the ice. So that caused other problems with the wood. Many other things were affected from the poor running of the building. It was left taken care of. I think Jack thought Mr. Pingelli would do a much better job than he did of running it. So now we're back to, you know, I guess you could call it, you know, fate. Maybe it won't happen, maybe we shouldn't do it again, maybe we should. I think we're back to the point where we were at, you know, to 01, that this is the hopes for that area. The economy took a dive, I'm sure that didn't help. I think our school hockey, I think our Taylor hockey team, I think they need to be back there. I think other things need to be there, many other activities, as Mr. Vivian has told us about. So I don't know, I guess it's all up to what you believe can happen, what can happen. You know, will he be able to pull it off? You know,
As Greg kept saying the other day.
I think that's it in a nutshell, pretty much.
Pontiac's kids play hockey.
And,
That's yours.
The thing I think that we need to focus on is the fact that the economic impact of this building to this community is significant. It is very significant, at least $7 million a year. And that's people coming into the community, but there's $3.1 million leaving the community now because we don't have enough hotels for them. 3.1 million leaving here because they're staying over on the Strip, or they're down on 75 someplace. They're not in town. And what you need, what we need, is 30 full-time jobs, 60 to 100 part-time jobs. And we've already made plans to go into the camp business, to replace the camps that the recreation department used to run all summer. We have 13 different camps we're promoting. This week we had, how many people, John? 22 kids to a camp, soccer camp.
Oh,
Spring
sorry,
week.
70, sorry. Thought you meant the kids.
We had 2 camps.
Yeah.
We had a cat show yesterday. They're very happy. They thought it was great service. They called this morning and scheduled 2 more dates. So we gotta keep the litter.
They used to do a lot of things,
Be
but they're not
amazed
doing
how the
that.
animals will get you.
We're going back to the multi-purpose venue that the building was designed originally for.
Thought the bowling tournament worked out great. That they had this here.
But I think you should, you know, it's pretty tough to swallow when you've got when you think you have a debt left that was strictly, it was never, folks, to my knowledge, did they ever think in God's green earth that that building would be valued at whatever it is now. The building was built to create traffic to this community. And it's fulfilled that purpose.
I'd like to
We
see
wanted to continue to do that, and the reason we're submitting the plan is because we need something like the dome, the soccer dome, and or the hotel, or both, to make it work financially for us.
Speaking of hotel space, Rocky, what's the story with the Holiday Inn? Why has that been closed for a year or so now?
The Ramada,
Ramada.
they're renovating it. They've gone through some pretty in-depth inspections, and so they're working on it.
I'd like to see that Greenville become a reality a few years ago. I'd like to see it be able to come back. I mean, I don't know if you can do that, but if you can,
But
the dream of our, you know, the hotel and the
Oh, yes,
restaurant, and,
yes.
you know, and it running big and making money for us.
I asked that question because my wife runs into a lot of people, and as Vivian was saying, people come in to use the sportsplex from out of town, and they wind up staying in Southgate, and they come in and they're asking for, where can we get a room? A lot of them come up 75, so they don't know the one up here is there, and so they're staying in Southgate, and that one has been vacant now for some time. I just wondered.
Yeah, so new owner last year, sometime early last year, and a lot of violations. They got themselves pretty broken down property, and they're working away at it right now, so.
They had remodeled that not too long ago, hadn't they?
Yeah, and I think there were some contingencies they had to do with the fire department, which were never taken care of, and of course, when it was auctioned, and we found that those things were never, they was extended, and it's a letter that they were gonna commit to those repairs, and they never did, so now the new owners are dealing with those.
Well, John,
Yeah, and just going back to the hotel restaurant, why wasn't that developed back then?
I can't tell you, Mr. Duke. I got Parkinson's. I sold the company. I sold my home in Florida. I thought the world was over and I was gonna dig a hole and crawl in. I have a wonderful female doctor in Indianapolis, and she made me believe that there is a life after Parkinson's. And I stand here not even shaking tonight. Yeah.
Does anybody know why it wasn't developed?
I think it,
Well,
I think.
The economy turned bad.
yeah, the economy hasn't been great for any kind of
We've
restaurant
just
or
gone through the
hotel
worst,
right now.
worst recession in history.
But Jackie, were you ever actually involved in proposals to